This is for Halloween Kills.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
That's how I feel about Halloween Ends. It's 9:13 p.m. on a Monday. I had the worst fucking start of the week. Pissed off, angry. A lot of shit that happened that I really got annoyed at. That I was exhausted. A lot of horrible stuff happened with my family. Mom having a terrible cold, and I got worried for her about it. And my friend has a headache right now, and we had to cancel some stuff we were gonna do today. And I was like, fine. Guess I'll spend my night watching Halloween Ends to get into the Halloween spirit. I didn't post on Saturday. Originally, I was gonna watch this movie on a Friday, but then I ended up not because I got exhausted and tired and didn't want to do much. And then I tried to do it on Saturday, but then a lot of complications happened that started this debacle of me being depressed and shit. And then Sunday I was trying to, but didn't get a chance to. I was, but then I got distracted playing games with friends. Now I watched it on Monday, and it's like adding to insult to injury of me feeling like shit, hating shit, being pissed off and shit of a lot of things that have happened. And I started to watch this movie. And how this movie begins is way different than how this movie ends. Like, the ending felt like, maybe it is a Halloween movie. And then, like, the beginning, it feels like a different movie entirely, which I'll get to later. I'm telling you this now. This movie irritated me more than Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills, you can't see the review anymore because we did this in the podcast, and that podcast is, well, lost media to the internet right now. And me and Kaiju talked about this film last year. Yeah, we talked about how this movie was terrible, how it irritated us, how it annoyed us, and how the mob mentality was terrible. Like, it was awful. Seeing these people in Haddonfield just turn evil, basically. And preying on just a random dude who was not Michael Myers, clearly isn't. And then dude commits suicide because all those people fucked up and hurt some random dude that was just mentally unstable. And that really didn't rub me the right way, and I didn't like that. It's terrible. But the movie was interesting. Seeing Michael kill these people, a few good stuff about the movie, and mainly never irritated me that much. The mob mentality, yeah, that irritated me to all the hell high heaven. Like, it was awful, but the kills and a few interesting stuff here and there about in the movie, I enjoyed. Like, that movie had less to piss me off about than this film right here. There, someone I talked to, my partner, they said, well, they said that they enjoy the movie. Last I talked to them, and remembering correctly, they said they enjoyed it, and I didn't understand why. But they said that Halloween or horror movies in general, like classic horror movies, are like comfort films for her and uh her mother, I think, if I remember correctly. And I was like, I don't know why you would like this film. And then I see that, you know what? Maybe the movie wasn't that bad at all. And I was like thinking back to it and thinking how I wasn't that irritated with the film that much. Mob mentality, again, that's the one part of the movie I hate, is the mob mentality. And a lot of people hated that, I think. Well, from what I know is I hated it, Kaiju hated it. But after coming off of Halloween, the first one from the trilogy, I did found it decent. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was good. Second one, I thought it was okay. Like, I don't think I was that irritated with it. At least that's to my memory. Because it was like, what's the one thing you hate about Halloween Kills? I hate the mob mentality. And that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, that's the majority and bulk of the movie about people just fucking up and doing dumb shit. But, like, it's pretty much not a big deal of it that much. And I mean, like, that much. Not, you know, like, because the whole film was centering around these people and how, even though, like, the horrible things that Michael has affected those people, they had reasons. They were traumatized. They were filled with hatred and rage. And that rage blinded them. And you see those people and you see the understanding of them, why they did it. Like, you can see, like, even the goodest person, or even like the most pure person, can turn evil. I've quoted this a lot. Seen bad men do good things. I've seen good people do bad things, and that proves it. Like, there was some point in that movie that warrants the mob mentality of seeing these people just riot and go werewolf and just be blinded by revenge. Like, you understood these people had struggles. These people had, like, a lot of depression and hatred and anger towards Michael, and you understood that. They were hurt. This movie just feels like a bunch of one notes to me. And it just feels awful. Like, movie starts off with, of course, a kid getting murdered on accident, all because of one random ass dude that we're now being introduced in the film, which I don't give a shit about. Like, we're just learning about this person. I mean, hell, if you planned this from the beginning and introduced us to this character, like, think about it. Like, think about how I feel like this Corey character, he had a lot of trouble. He had a lot of struggles. And you see him, like, coming to grips of regretting the death of that kid, and he didn't mean to do it. It was an accident, of course. He didn't mean to kill the kid, obviously. Kid was just being a brat. He was trying to get out of the door, and he just knocked it, even though he could have just waited for the parents to just come home and just be like, hey, I'm stuck here. Can you please let me out? Your son trapped me here. Like, more rational thinking instead of like, let me just get angry and just bash a fucking door open. Like, that just seems stupid. Like you're babysitting someone and then you're like, oh, this is a person's house. Like I can't just bust their door open and just be like that. No. Like you could have just waited, you'd be pissed off, but you know, that kid's probably just gonna watch a horror movie all by themselves and then they're just gonna probably sleep with nightmares and they'll be roaming around the house doing random shit. And then their parents are gonna come home, and then after that, they're gonna see what happened. Where's the babysitter? And he would be like hearing the parents, and he could have just banged on the door like, "I'm here. Your son trapped me here, locked." You know, logical things to think about. Like there was no sign of Corey being evil or anything that made it to pertain that. It just felt forced. Like even everything about it felt forced to make him supposedly the new Michael Myers, which was the dumbest and most pointless story ever. And you know what? It is the main focus of the movie. And it's completely pointless and ends very anticlimactic. Like, stupidly anticlimactic. Like, all of a sudden, he just kills himself because he wants to frame Lori for murdering him to make her look bad in front of, well, her granddaughter. And then, like, all of a sudden, she just, like, circles back and says, oh no, Lori's in trouble. I gotta help her. And then they kill Michael Myers together. And then they just resolve everything like nothing happened. And it just feels like the whole main story of that film felt pointless. It's like they never had a big story to tell about, oh, what can we do for the final like Halloween movie to show that Michael is fucking like what? Like a danger and he needs to be taken down. And they didn't. It's like they wrote themselves in a corner and they didn't know what they could do with it. Like, here's what I think that what happened. They had an ending. Like, they had a climax. But they didn't had a first and second act. Like, they wrote down what they wanted for the climax to be. The final showdown between Lori and Michael. And, you know, they want to, like, make it cool. Like, oh, of course, they're gonna do it in a house. They're gonna fucking, like, end it there. They're gonna fight each other, and Lori's gonna stop them. And she's gonna kill Michael, and then she's gonna go and show the town that Michael is dead, and they're gonna throw him in a grinder, and everything's gonna be fine. And then she's gonna live her life peacefully, and then we're gonna play Don't Fear the Reaper at the end of the movie. Like, that's what I feel like. They had a climax, but they didn't had a fucking first and second act. Like, they had the climax. They were like, awesome. How are we going to get into this climax? How are we going to go and, how are we going to go and get to this point where, Lori faces off Michael and shows off the town people she murdered Michael Myers and then throw him into a fucking grinder? Like, how are we going to get to this point? And their idea was, let's create a metaphor for like evil is within anyone. Like anyone can be Michael Myers. And we're going to show this kid that we're just going to randomly show in the movie. And then he's going to slowly turn into Michael Myers. You see, here's the thing. That's not a bad idea. The whole like evil can be anyone, like anyone can be Michael Myers. Honestly, not a bad idea. Like that's not a bad plot point for a Halloween movie. Now, here's the problem with that. You did it for one movie. Now, if you actually built up this Corey character for all three movies, I mean it. Like, this is something I truly believe in. Like, if you built up Corey, like from the first movie, you just see him as just a pointless side character. Like, you saw him, he was probably amongst the high school or friends or whatever that were in the first movie, and he happened to knew Laurie's granddaughter, and he met her, and they are not technically friends, but they know each other because, you know, small town, you know, whatever. And, you know, you just don't think much about him. Like, you're like, oh, random guy, random character from this actor, and you don't think much about him. Then you cut to him in the second movie, and what could I think of? Like, you cut to him in the second movie, and you see him again. Like, you know, something like interesting to build him up, like something to elude the fact that he could be possibly a killer, like possibly become another Michael Myers, like that tendency, that urge of wanting to kill, you know? Maybe not, or maybe you could build it up to the point like he was probably. Actually, no. What if the kid died? Like, the kid died in the same night when Michael Myers was killing people and he was babysitting the kid. And then, you know, and they don't know about Michael going around killing people. But here's the thing, Michael doesn't come after them. And no, that wouldn't work. I'm trying to think how you would structure this right with Corey. Like, you could build him up. Maybe, actually, yeah, you know? Yeah. I'm trying to think how you would structure this. Like, there's gotta be something. I don't know. I'm too drunk to think about this right now. I'm saying is that Corey could have been like this Anakin Skywalker kind of type character, and he could have just been easily structured as like, oh, you can see some trouble in him, and there could be something that, like, you know, you got to think, like, make people think and think, like, was it the town that made him into this evil, or was it always within him in the first place? And then, you know, you could see he might had troubles at home. You could see he might had troubles like outside, and then he's always been this tortured kind of by other people, but not a lot. Like, he was well respected. But then seeing, like, I think, like, maybe, yeah, just have him, like, oh, he is kind of like that golden boy. He's like, oh, he's that cool dude that we know, that nice kid. Like, yeah, he's a cool kid. And then all of a sudden, then you show him murdering accidentally that kid, and then you see him be changed into a different character. Like, look, that nice kid that was in the last two movies, and then you build him up more. And then there would have been more, you know, character development. I think more interesting interactions with Laurie and freaking her granddaughter as well to meet Corey. And, you know, there'd be more conversations between them that would be interesting because, you know, we would have established that they must have been friends or knew each other around the town before. Like, at least that establishment. But no, he's just a random character that we're supposed to know and believe he's evil. And it feels very forced down our throat that we're supposed to believe he could be the next Michael Myers, which he isn't. The whole thing is you should have that build up in the first two movies first, about this guy to know him more. And people will be questioning why should we give a shit about Corey? He's just this random dude. I mean, he could have been part of the mob, or he could have been, helping Lori and everyone out, and you could build off that relationship between the granddaughter and Corey in the second movie. Like, they might have that click, that relationship, but it doesn't go anywhere in the second one. And then it starts to blossom in the third one, but then you see that there's something different and wrong about Corey at the moment. Like, you feel glad that these two got together, and seeing them happy after seeing, like, it's the will they won't they kind of thing in the first and second movie, and you're starting to wonder, hopefully something good happens with it, and you throw in that loop and twist of seeing him turn evil slowly, and then you could actually give a shit about Corey, actually feel the connection, and not see that he's a one-note character. Like, that would be cool if you built it up. This is not something you make a story about of a random fucking dude we just met and just say, hey, here's this random motherfucker. Now believe that he's going to be the next Michael Myers. You don't just do that. Like, you just don't. This is a story you need a structure in 2 movies until you reach your climactic film. Like, that's something you build up, not something you fucking just drop out of the hat and say, oh, here is fucking, Corey, da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, like that. Like, no, you don't do that. It's stupid. And that's the whole story of the movie. The whole story is about him becoming supposedly the next boogeyman just because the town made him into that and made him look like an evil dude. And what does he come off as? Fucking JD from Heathers. I thought Kaiju was joking about that shit, that it was like, this is technically Heathers. But it feels like Heathers. It feels like it. Like, it feels like it because it's like, it had that feeling of a guy that says, fuck these people in this town. Let's go and kill them. Let's murder them. Let's plant a bomb in the school. Let's kill those fucking Heathers, those bitches that brought us down and shit. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like Heathers. And to be fair, it's a better remake than the TV show. And my God, I was like watching a different fucking movie. Like, as soon as this music kicks in, when Corey is riding on his motorcycle and you hear this pop music, and I was like listening, and I was like, did I walk into a different movie? Like, the rest felt like, oh, this is Halloween, but then you hear this music at the end, and then you see them partying at this bar, and it's like, it feels like a different movie entirely. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this doesn't feel like Halloween. Like, it felt like conflicting tones of here's a teen drama about these 2 misunderstood youths that are saying fuck the world, and they want to go and leave this place and have that whole town on their fucking rear view mirror, and then like goes back to being a Halloween movie. And if I have to talk about, speaking of teen drama shit, let's talk about fucking the bullies in this movie. My God, I have problems with two things, and that is cardboard cutout bullies and fucking people that would blame a main character for some shit just because they were there and they have no one else to blame because the hero already took away the one thing that killed that person, that killed someone that those people thought they were dear to, kind of thing, and then blames it on the hero or protag for no damn reason, just to feel something, I guess, and to drive the characters like arc forward. And I don't know, I just find those things annoying. And cardboard cutout bullies are the worst because cardboard cutout bullies only have one thing in their mind, and it's either getting bitches or getting alcohol, or let's just bully the silent kid because why not? We're evil or some shit. How are we still making these generic bullies after Let Me In, after Amazing Spider-Man, when we see Flash Thompson about to bully Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield's like like fucking like pinning him down on a locker, and then Flash is like, dude, I heard your uncle is dead. I shouldn't have bothered you. I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone. And you never hear from him again. And never hear him bullying Parker again or anyone else in that school, because you know what? He actually had a conscience and realized he lost someone dear in his life, and he actually gave a shit. He's like, I'm sorry. I understand what you're going through. I'm gonna leave you alone. And he stops being a cardboard cutout bully because you see that he actually had feelings and gave a shit. And Let Me In, it had layers sort of to the bully of why he bullied Owen, because he was the weakest one in the school in his eyes, and he only did it to distract him from his depression and abuse that he gets from his older brother. Like, at least you understood that. These bullies have no reasoning, just a throwaway line saying, yeah, your dad hates you, and he is just annoying. Actually, I not only just hate bullies that do that, I also hate bullies and people that like fucking joke and like bully people just because, haha, your fucking what, like love interest or family member died, ooh, or some bullshit, and then taunt them about it. Like, God, it's stupid. And like, what? Just like, oh yeah, for fucking Chucky, I hated that because fucking what's her name? Dressed up in her Halloween costume to be the main protagonist's fucking dad being electrocuted and make fun of that. I fucking hated that. That was stupid, and it's happened in this freaking movie, just not over the top like how Chucky did it, but like fucking this movie had the gall to say like, I don't give a shit if everyone that you knew died, I'm gonna make fun of you for it. Like, fuck off. It annoyed me, and that's why I was drinking. I was drinking alcohol to get through this fucking movie, because it just annoyed the fuck out of me with these characters. The bully characters, even like Corey's fucking character development, his arc, which felt rushed, which felt completely uninteresting, and it just make you bored as hell thinking, when are we going to get to Michael Myers killing people? And Michael, does he kill people in creative ways in this movie? He just stabs them. That's all he does. He just stabs them. Who gets the creative kills in this movie? Fucking Corey does. And they're not bad kills. That's the worst part. I don't even hate the kills. I fucking love the kills in this fucking movie. The freaking radio host DJ jockey, like him getting his fucking jaw fucking dislodged and broken, and then Corey cuts his tongue with fucking scissors and shit, and then stabs him while he's in the same. His head is in the same position as this art. The DJ jockey's like art of himself is in the background, and the head is tilted the same way as the art that's behind him. Very creative and cool. But then the beginning of that fucking like encounter of the disc jockey, like he is like a generic 70s black guy. Like the way he talks, the way he acts. He's like, before I whoop your ass or whatever, what he says like that. I'm like, what year are you in? Like, what year do you think you are in that you're acting like a generic cliche 70s blaxploitation black guy? I was waiting for that dude to say you jive turkey. Like, I can't be the only one that was thinking that he was about to say you jive turkey or some bullshit. Like, I thought he was gonna say that. To insult to injury, you would not believe what his fucking like receptionist looks like in that fucking place. She looks like every dumb blonde bimbo you see in movies. The way she was dressed, her fucking boobs are like popped out. Like those things will be escaping out anytime, it's like sooner or later. And then like she looks like such a whore with her freaking makeup all like dolled up, looking like she's about to have sex with someone in a porn shoot or something. Like it just looks so stupid. And I was like, is she only here to be killed and look like a dumb blonde? And yeah, that's all her point was, looking hot for the camera and then get murdered off screen. Like the fuck. It's stupid. It's stupid. I hate it. I fucking hate it. It's terrible. And then the kills get cooler and cooler. Yet it's not Michael. It's a dude named Corey. I don't understand. Why did they do this? It's terrible. And there's no, like, reasoning, no confliction to it. It's just a damn metaphor that evil can happen to anyone. Anyone could be Michael Myers, yeah. But here's the thing. No one knew why Michael was the way he was. No one knew why he all of a sudden was like, I'm gonna murder my sister while I'm 6 years old. No one knew. Until Rob Zombie, for some reason, answered that question by making his family into redneck hicks. Weird. But, God. It was... Ugh. I didn't like it. I didn't like this film. I didn't. Like, the climax, in my opinion, is the best part of the movie. The best part of that movie is the climax. The whole bullshit with Corey, I hate. The climax, actually pretty enjoyable. I would honestly watch that one scene again and then listen to Don't Fear the Reaper afterwards. Like, that climax was actually... I'm not gonna lie, actually pretty decent. I thought that was cool, but that's the thing. The climax was an ending that was probably already the idea. Like, I bet that this was the original ending for a script for the third movie, because I guess originally it was all gonna be on the same night. And I'm pretty sure Danny McBride, David Gordon Green were all thinking, I know how we're going to end this trilogy. And that was their idea. And they had ideas for the first movie. They had ideas for the second movie. The third movie, they probably didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, they just wrote themselves in a corner and said, fuck, what the hell do we do now? Like, something stopped them to do that. Am I saying they're bad at making horror movies? No. I don't think they were bad at making comedies either. David Gordon Green, the first fucking movie I saw that dude direct that he made was it Superbad or was it fucking Pineapple Express? It was one of them. And I don't know. He's not a bad director, not a bad writer, not even as Danny McBride, not even as him. But yet they started out strong and they got weaker and weaker as soon as the movies went on. Like something happened where their writing ability became shit in the last two films. Like, what the fuck happened to them? What made them change differently in making this trilogy? Was it the fans? Did it really become another Star Wars sequel trilogy situation where they had to listen to fans, or did they not give a shit and they say, no, we're not taking criticism, we're going to step into the direction we want to with these films? Or was this a fuck you? Was this a fuck you or not? In my opinion, they had enough time during the virus to think of something interesting for the concept of these movies and think back to them. They had a lot of time. I just don't know what they were thinking at that point. If this really is the conclusion to Halloween, well, please tell me they don't make more. Because at this point, I think it's time to let this series be put to fucking rest. And they should cancel that Exorcist movie because I don't think Danny McBride and David Gordon Green are going to do justice in their remake of Exorcist. I think they need to quit while they're ahead. Or in fact, here's a suggestion. Mr. McBride, Mr. Green, make your own original horror movie character and put in whatever kind of message you want better in that horror movie series you want to make together. I mean, that's a suggestion. That's an interesting suggestion that I think would be better instead of just fucking remaking old horror classics and probably bastardizing them. I mean, you started off good in the first half. Your last two halves, they didn't go well. So what do I give Halloween Ends? 2.1 out of 10. 2.1 because the kills were good and the climax was actually pretty decent. 2.1. 2.1. I'm sorry. 2.1. Maybe 2.5. Maybe 2.5 because there is good acting performances here and there. I do like Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. She did a great job. The other actors, I don't think they were great. I mean, actually, I'm being too harsh. The actors were good. All the actors were good. They with what material they were given, they put off a good performance. I really do hope that these actors go off and do other things in the future. So good for them. But yeah. I don't know if I cover it all. If you want me to, hell, I might do a second review of this, maybe with Kaiju, if she is up for it. If she's up for it, in fact, Kaiju, if you're watching this review right now, maybe you and I should make a video together to talk about this movie and go on full discussion in detail. Maybe both of us watch it a second time and then, put our thoughts and feelings into it in another video. Like, you and I, if you're listening, we should. Just for old time's sake. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope I didn't forget anything in my drunken state. See you guys in the next one, and remember, you are loved.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!